Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, I eat folks on Platter video series videos I've been doing for a while. I go over there to have food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that, well, folks, at the time I'm doing this particular video, I've got high hopes. But we're going to get into that. I got a Beer Can Thunderbolt poster behind me. I got a crappy old ladder off to the side. He's actually not in his normal spot because I had to use him for some crappy old laddering. And folks, when I tell you that that's a crappy old ladder, I ain't joking. It is barely a ladder at this point. Okay, it's the loosest definition of a ladder. But I needed it to use it, and it did elevate me to where I needed to be, but it was a terrifying experience. That's why it doesn't get moved very often. Aside from all that, I got a bunch of Marvel figures up there. And on top of that, folks, I'm wearing a cool shirt. When I wear a cool shirt, I like to highlight the shirt, folks. What cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! GoBots shirt. Not just any GoBots shirt. GoBots Battle of the Rock Lord shirt. I love the GoBots. This is actually one of my favorite shirts. When I first started getting to like nerdy apparel and, sort of searching out for my own stuff, I knew I wanted something to represent the GoBots because I like them so much. And I have a huge fondness for the Battle of the Rock Lords, which, if you're not familiar, GoBots was a toy line / animated series that came out a little bit before Transformers did. Actually beat them to the market. And for a little while they went head to head. Transformers clearly won out. But as a kid, man, I was just super stoked that I got 2 shows about transforming robots. Or if I'm being specific with GoBots, converting cyborgs. Yeah, we're going that level of nerdy. But yeah, so I love GoBots. And again, especially with the Battle of the Rock Lord stuff. My mom actually taped it off the TV for me when I was like a wee lad. And somewhere I think I still have it, which is great because it's for some reason still not out on DVD. Thanks for that. But anyway, what am I trying for y'all today, folks? Like I said, I think this is going to be a good one. Why? Because we're doing boom! Lou Malnati's. Look at it. It's hard to read, but I can't do a proper boom. What's Lou Malnati's? Well, it's a pizzeria. If you're not familiar, maybe you don't live in the Illinois area, Lou Malnati's is kind of a Chicago / Illinois institution. Amongst food-related places that typically get brought up when, you're talking about like places to visit when you visit Illinois or Chicago, Lou Malnati's is usually on there somewhere. They're famous for their butter crust pizzas. Even amongst a lot of Illinoisans, or at least, I don't want to say a lot, I don't want to put, but a decent amount of Illinoisans, Lou Malnati's is considered to be one of the best pizza places around. So I figured I'm going to do a Lou Malnati's review. But I'm not just going to do any Lou Malnati's review, folks. Because one of the things that Lou Malnati's is famous for is deep dish. But I'm not just going to review any deep dish. I've had deep dish a million times. No, folks, we are doing... hopefully I can do a boom. Boom! What? Boom! This is Lou Malnati's limited run white pizza. Deep dish. I saw that they made this announcement not too long ago. I knew I had to be about that. I live near Lou Malnati's, so perfect opportunity. And I've never highlighted anything Lou Malnati's related because typically their stuff is just kind of good and, they don't usually do wacky stuff or anything that's worth reviewing. But this seems like a thing that I would do. So, it's cream sauce with spinach, mushroom, and red onion. That's the makeup of the pizza. Now, the only thing on there I'm a little bit tentative on is the red onion. Typically for me, onion on a pizza is fairly sacrilege. I'm not a big onion guy. But for the sake of reviewing it as it is, we're going to give it a go. Oh, deep dish is one of those things that even in Illinois can be somewhat contentious, even though we often present a lot of pride in it. I love it, and I've heard people refer to it as being touristy, and it's not really. Folks, I definitely eat more, like normal or, like tavern style pizza more frequently. But when I have a special occasion, it's deep dish. So anyway, let's grab a slice and make this a thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. There it is. You can see it. I can see it. It's real. Now here's the thing, folks. Real quick thing. Because I know I've been yammering. Notice how this is a slice of pizza? Yeah. That's specific. Why? Lou Malnati's does this weird thing where they offer pizza unsliced. They always argue this point that deep dish travels better unsliced. No, it doesn't. Stop it. Stop at Lou Malnati's. Okay? Because I forgot to go over there and specify sliced. Because I have no interest in doing it. Of course, I get it. It's unsliced, so I had to do it myself. Not a hugely difficult task, but especially with deep dish, it's a bit of a pain. Stop it, Lou Malnati's. At the very least, when you go to order, have sliced be your basic option instead of unsliced. I've never once met anybody who wants it unsliced. That aside, let's try some pizza. I have yammered for a while. Okay. All right, well. One thing about deep dish, it's a little hard to handle. Well, I just ate a mushroom. That's so good. So I've had white pizzas before. I'm a fan. But I've never had a white deep dish pizza. That's a new one on me. And I have to say, white deep dish pizza is the business. I was a little bit worried with the lack of a protein. Because I don't typically do veggie pizzas, clearly. But the cheese is actually so, like, it has, like, almost a meatiness to it. Like, that's how, like, properly thick the cheese is. And so, like, you bite into it, and it's almost like you're biting into, like, like sausage or something like that. Like, it has a similar texture, and this is really good. Like, it's Lou Malnati, so, like, I figured it was going to be good. I don't think I've ever had anything I disliked from Lou Malnati's. And having the butter crust, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. It just, it takes the crust, mind you, you want a good crust on your pizza, but it takes the crust from being a side player to really being part of the whole experience. It adds this rich, kind of buttery flavor that, like, even with everything on it, you still taste every single bite. Like, when I had the mushroom that just fell off the top, it tasted like a mushroom with cream sauce and spinach, which are all things that I like. But having it with the actual crust and everything, significantly different. Yeah, I really like this. I mean, everything tastes good. Even the onions, they're not my favorite part of it, but with everything else on there, they're not abrasive. They're there, you can still definitely taste them, but they're working with everything instead of being way too bold and standing out, which for me is kind of my problem with onions. Like, I don't, they can just be too much. With this, they're not. You really are getting an overall. Like, the thing that I would say, the butter crust and the cheese and the sauce are probably the three most prominent players. The veggies themselves, they're definitely still there. You're still getting, the nice freshness of the spinach, the sort of, earthiness of the mushroom, excuse me, and then the onioniness of the onion. But it's really good. And the thing that keeps getting me is just how meaty tasting it really is. Like, if I didn't know and I wasn't looking at it, I would assume that there was some sort of a sausage protein or something like that. It's really good, and like I said, as far as white pizzas go, this is up there for me. Like, this is genuinely. Now that said, would this go over there and replace the classic deep dish for me? No, but I like that it's available as an option, even if it's a limited time thing. But I'm really down with this. And one thing I do have to mention with the cream sauce, because obviously that's a huge component, it's not overdoing it. With everything else involved, because I've had white pizzas where the cream sauce was just a bit much. It's not doing that. Like, the overall takeaway from this, not only is just the individual components, but overall how well they're blended together, and the fact that yes, you do have super rich cheese, you have the buttery crust and everything, but the veggies, sort of offset that a little bit. So it doesn't just feel heavy, overly indulgent, if you will. I really like this. Now that said, is it going to be for everybody? Obviously not. For one thing, it's deep dish. That right there causes some people to go brrr. Not myself, obviously. But even beyond that, I mean, you have to like white pizza, clearly. But should you try it? I think so. I think if you live in Illinois, and maybe you're not a big white pizza fan, I would say give this a shot. I'm not saying it's going to be your jam, but I think it might surprise you a little bit because, again, at least for me, the quality of it and the way it's presented, I really enjoyed it. So, yeah. I don't really have too much more to say than that, I guess. Hooray, little Malnatis! You made an interesting offshoot pizza. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for me on that one then. I know I yammered quite a bit, so 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your months, stupendous rest of your year, and folks, you go over there and have yourselves a truly deep dish-tastic rest of your life. Because, folks, I don't care what Jon Stewart says. Okay? Jon Stewart, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out, Jon Stewart. Okay? You're a phenomenal, quasi-news anchor, whatever you want to consider it. You're an amazing talent. You can get fucked with your hate of the deep dish pizza. Okay? Calling you out. My tiny YouTube channel, what with the Battle of the Rock Lord shirt. Anyway, final 2 things, folks. Number 1, try to bring some positivity to the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You try not to be an asshole. Now, yes, I did just call out Jon Stewart. Just a little bit asshole-ish. But he deserved it. Deserved it. Okay? But ultimately, folks, we have to try to mitigate the level of assholeness in our lives, regardless of Jon Stewart's opinion on pizza. Sure, he's a good dude. Maybe he's a good dude. I don't know. But we don't. We need to go over there. We need to try to. We don't want to put that out. We don't put negative stuff out in the world, folks. Try to mitigate the level of assholeness. Very final thing, folks. Do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there. Maybe you've never indulged in a deep dish pizza. Maybe you're going to go over there and give it a shot based off this review. It doesn't have to be Lou Malnati's. There's other really solid places for it. Gino's East has really good pizza. There is a place not too far from me called Nardi's. Local spots a lot of times will have really good stuff. Just saying. But maybe you try it. Maybe it makes you a convert. And you're over there, you hit up in the comments, you're like, Brandon, I tried the deep dish pizza and you were right. It's amazing. Jon Stewart can suck it. And then I respond, I'd be like, well, okay, but let's not be too mean to Jon Stewart. He's he's allowed to have his opinion. But then secretly we go over there and we discuss it offhand and everything, and it's like, yeah, man, Jon Stewart can suck it. Or conversely, we could not do that because that would be way more reasonable. And, you could go over there and I could have totally tied that into because Jon Stewart did a wrestling thing. Didn't he get hit by a chair at one point? I don't know, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. It's been a while. It's been a while, folks. But maybe you could not do that. Maybe you go over there, watch Half Baked. Jon Stewart was in Half Baked. Just a little cameo role, but it's fun. All right, bye.